It's my foundation. It's my faith. It's my work ethic. It's my drive. It's everything that I've tried to build for myself that has made me who I am.
I'll do what it takes to make you believe.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So as many of you know, my wife has epilepsy, and I think it was I'm wearing a shirt. I'm actually wearing the shirt from the Epilepsy Foundation. We did the 5K, I think it was 2 years ago. I know we didn't do it last year, so maybe it was 2 years ago. And we're going to do it this year because this year is easy. It's virtual. So all we got to do is we can do it from home. We can walk around the neighborhood and all that kind of stuff to work up to the 5K. And we just you snapshot a picture of it and then you send it in. Then you get like a shirt and a medal. And you get to donate to the Epilepsy Foundation. So, I mean, it's a win-win. It's a fun time. You get to be outside and you get something for walking around. But epilepsy does need money. They need money for research and stuff like that. Like, we go to the University of Pennsylvania, and their research is just ridiculous. But they need that funding, to keep it going, because there's also not that many neurologists. People just aren't becoming neurologists nowadays. I know a lot of people going to school to be doctors, want to become pediatricians and deal with kids and stuff like that, and that's great. But neurology needs, people. And epilepsy foundations need funding, and they need help. So if you want to do that, you can either hit me up, at Big B Ham 820 on Instagram, and just ask about it or whatever, and we can. But I'm sure I'll have the link out on Facebook and Instagram of where you can sign up and where you can join and stuff like that. So, and that's all it is. Like, this year is going to be a virtual race, so you can do it from your own home. Walk around your house, walk around a park, walk around outside, around your neighborhood. Just make it easy for you in these times, so you don't have to be near people and, act like you're getting the coronavirus. Found something on Netflix that I actually like, you know what I mean? There hasn't been too many. I'm really big into the murder and the crime documentary kind of stuff that was true life, and they kind of make it into a movie. Or I like the real life recallings of events and stuff like that. So the first one I watched was the one that just came out, was about the Centoya Brown case. And that whole thing is a whirlwind. It's really confusing. And it just shows me, and all these things that I watch, right? It just shows me how unfair the justice system is, because someone can do the same thing Centoya Brown did and then get off from it. You know what I mean? But then she spent 15 years in jail since she was 16. She was taken in as a prostitute at 16 and having sex with these old dudes, you know what I mean? So she went to jail for killing a guy because she felt threatened. She was scared and didn't know what he was going to do. You know what I mean? So why are people... Because one, where I come from, where my opinion stands is anyone that gets a prostitute is creepy to me. So anyone that gets a prostitute, especially that knows they're 16 or under, I'm automatically saying, okay, dude, there's something wrong with you. I don't trust you. There's something that's going to go on. There's something that's going to happen. You're going to do something to that person, that child, that kid, whatever. So automatically my brain goes to that place. My brain's not oh, well, she agreed to it, blah, blah, blah. She agreed to it because she has a pimp that will kill her if she don't bring home the money. She agreed to it because that's all she knows. She thinks this pimp is her boyfriend. He's 45. Like, how does that make any sense? So, with her not understanding what's really going on in her life, she goes through with these things because she's scared. She's scared for her life every single time she goes and does it. You know what I mean? And especially this time, this dude didn't want to go to a motel where she usually does it. He said, let me take you back to my house. And she's going in the house. She sees guns everywhere. Like, what you think? What you think's going to happen? A 16-year-old kid. And this is what happens when they take kids to court like this, right? You have to get in the mind of that kid. They don't have the same thought process as an adult. You know what I mean? Like, she's just thinking, like, I want to get out of here. And something bad's going to happen. She just doesn't have, you know what I mean? But anyway, I'm not trying to spoil, like, too much of it, but at the end, she has her last, like, chance to get out, right? And she's explaining herself and saying how she's changed and all this stuff. And by this time, she's, like, 30. And this board, their decisions will go to the governor of, I think they're in Tennessee. So 2 people said, oh, they should wait till 25 years. And then the other 2 said, no, she shouldn't get out at all. Where this girl has finished a degree from a prestigious, like, Lipscomb University, and has done all this great stuff in jail and, like, you know what I mean? Like, done the best she could. And then they asked so this is what gets me. Is like, this lady, she's like, I'm not family, but I'm like a friend of the family of the person she killed or whatever. She said, he deserves this better than this, blah, 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 all this other stuff. I'm like, why isn't his family there? He has family, but his family wasn't there. So, if a friend of the family had to be there for it, how serious was this dude's death, really? You know what I'm saying? Like, they act like he's such a nice dude. Oh, he went to church, he cleaned, blah, blah, blah. So? That don't make you a good person because you go to church. You know how many pastors have cheated on their wives and done bad things? And they're the ones that are looked up to. So you can't use going to church. You can't use doing good works. You can't do, just because you do good things for people doesn't mean you're a good person. Because you can do other things, you know what I mean? You could do bad things to people and those people just don't know about it. So he was doing all these good things, but yet he was getting 16-year-old prostitutes, taking them back to his house. Come on, bro. So personally, I don't feel bad if she felt threatened. That he died, that she shot him. Like, I would be in the same boat. I put my mind in the same mind I would if I was 16. If I was 16, you don't have the same process as you do when you're 25, when you're 30. And that's what the judge and the juries and all them people don't understand. And now it would be different. Now it would be sex trafficking. Now she would be fine. But back in, what was it? 2000? 2003? Something like that? Or maybe it was in the 90s. No, it was 2000s. Yeah, because she's 2 years older than me. So it would have been so different. You know what I mean? But I don't know. This is the thing that blows my mind about serial killers is, like, they're so patient. They're so patient. And they take their time, and then all of a sudden they strike. Like, it just blows my mind, and it scares the shit out of me. That that these people, they freak me out. Dude. Come on. And then the stuff you hear about he did to his mom after he killed her, oh my gosh. It's gross. It's so crazy, but if you're into that kind of stuff, I'll definitely watch the Mindhunter. I'll watch Centoya Brown doc. I'll watch. Ooh, and then also, I just got into last night was Waco. So I didn't know this came out in like 2 years ago, and now Netflix has it, and now it's like booming. So this is about like a cult, and for some reason, they're just like bombarded by like the federal government. You know what I mean? Yeah, they were getting guns and stuff like that, but they were doing it to protect themselves, you know? No, I don't agree with all the stuff they were doing, because in this show, they show their kids like very happy and stuff like that, but then you hear like other accounts. I'm still digging into it cuz I just watched it last night. So before I form my own opinion about it, I'm going to watch a documentary about like CBS or ABC did like 2 years ago about it tonight. So I'm gonna keep learning about it. But in this show, they show all the kids like having fun and being all nice and stuff like that, and smiling and like loving where they live and all this kind of stuff. And when really they don't, because discipline was such high priority there, and they just didn't. The way they were disciplined was, pretty bad. Like, I saw a story where the one mom wouldn't stop beating her son until he bled, because I don't know if this was the reason, but one of the accounts said if they spilled milk or if they spilled a drink or something, like, they would just get beat. So we actually have our first hotline call. So if you guys don't know, if you're watching, I started the Strong Tower podcast phone calling thing, or a hotline, you call it, right? You can call the hotline at 302-313-6429, and we got a call talking about just what I was talking about earlier, about what's your favorite like murder or crime documentary or show or whatever. So this is from my girl Young Sash, who was just on my podcast earlier or last week. So let's hear what Young Sash got to say.
Yo, Ben, this is your girl, Young Sash, coming at you on the hotline.
Yo.
I was just calling to comment on my favorite, my favorite, like, horror documentary, whatever you were asking, and it's Gypsy Rose, because that girl did her thing and did what she had to do to get out of that tormented life that her mother was doing to her.
Yeah, so Gypsy Rose, she was a little girl who, actually, let me get the facts right. So let me pull this up. Her mom treated her whole life that she had some type of disease and all this kind of stuff. So she was like in a wheelchair, and she was treated like she had brain damage. That's what it is, brain damage from a premature birth or something like that. And it says she had suffered leukemia, asthma, muscular dystrophy, and she had the mental capacity of a 7-year-old. So her mom treated her like that, so she believed she had it this whole time. And after all this stuff, like, she killed her mom, right? And let's see, what did she get? She got 10 years, eligible for parole in 2024. Okay, so I guess someone else killed her or something. Because they got life imprisonment without parole plus 25 years. Was it her boyfriend? Yeah, it doesn't say anything. Oh, yeah, her boyfriend. Okay. So her boyfriend killed her mom then. Okay. Yo, so she got 4 years left until she's eligible for parole. So that's going to be coming out. I wonder if Netflix is working on that. I bet you they are. That'd be dope. Not dope for them, but like dope for me. So I got something to watch. In case we got another quarantine in 4 years or some shit. Who knows? Yeah, but Gypsy Rose, man. That's another thing. I don't blame you. Your mom ruined your fucking life, man. Like, why do you get so much? At least she only got 10 years. Because she didn't actually kill her, I think, because her boyfriend did it. But damn, that's some shit. Like, nothing happens to the mom, but she gets to die and just like. Gypsy Rose spends her life in a mental prison and then has to go to regular prison after. You know what I mean? Well, hopefully when she gets out. Well, that's only for parole, so 2024. So who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, let's hear what else young Sash got to say about Gypsy Rose.
Sorry, but her mom got what was coming to her, and she is a boss-ass bitch, and I think that Gypsy Rose is that bitch, period. I mean, if you haven't seen any of them, watch them. I haven't watched the act, like the TV show they made of it, but I've watched some of the documentaries. More so than watching the documentaries, I've read a lot about a Gypsy Rose.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree that her mom got what was coming to her. Like, you can't be doing that to someone and not get anything in return. You know what I mean? I'm sure she don't mind being in jail because she don't gotta worry about her mom no more. To do that to someone, like, you're taking away their life anyway. She's probably having more of a life in jail than she ever did growing up. But I don't know. Keep it going.
And I've watched real interviews of Gypsy Rose, and I think she's a survivor. I think that girl should have never went to jail because literally...
I agree. But you're an accomplice to a murder, so I understand. That's where things get tricky. With these type of things. She got second-degree murder. So, she might get out when she's up for parole. You know what I mean? So, or at least have to spend like another year until she gets out. But yeah, the boyfriend that actually did it, I think he deserves it. But Gypsy Rose herself, I think she went through enough. And yeah, I don't think she should spend that long in jail. But who am I?
She lived in a lifetime of fucking jail. So yeah, that's my vote. That's my opinion. That's my comment. Hope you have a great day. Stay blessed. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Bye.
That's young Sash. It's my girl. Funny as hell. But thanks for the call, young Sash. And yeah, that's interesting. That's another interesting one that, and there's a reason they make these documentaries and stuff, because it's so taboo. It's so it could go either way. And then they make a documentary about it that makes your mind go one way. You know, so when I watch a documentary, I try to find something else about it. So then that way, it's like this Waco thing, right? They portrayed this place as like they were innocent for like being bombarded by the federal government and all that kind of stuff. And no, I don't think they were innocent, but I don't think what happened actually had to happen. Like there was no there was no reason to bust in there with tanks and tear gas like you're fucking Iraq. You know what I mean? There's no reason for that. You know, it showed the number. It said 25 kids were in there and none of them made it out. And I bet you they felt like shit because that didn't happen, you know? And of course, at the end, they blamed it on a mass suicide, which is common in cults, so no one turned an eye to it, you know what I mean? No one said, "Oh, that couldn't have been." So why was the leader shot in the head? Or he had a gunshot wound in the head, right? But everyone else didn't. And if you did an autopsy, but you couldn't because their bodies burned from the tear gas started fire, but the FBI told people that they started the fire. The people did before they all before they all committed suicide. And this is just one thing, like, I am very proud to be an American and be part of this country, right? But I can't stand the direction of sometimes, it's not everyone, of these bureaus like the FBI and the police and like so many different people. There's so many crooked people that don't give a fuck about who they hurt, who they kill, what they're doing. They have no morals, they have no kind of integrity. And that's what pisses me off. You know what I mean? I know they have a job to do, but hey, think smart. Be smart about it. Don't be stupid. You know what I mean? This negotiator, yeah, it took time. It takes time for things. This negotiator had him in the palm of his hand. He was like, "Yo, we got him. They're gonna surrender after he writes this thing. Blah blah blah." And he said, "Nope, we don't have time for that." They want to take matters in their own hands and just be bullies. You know what I mean? That's what I don't like. I don't like when America is a bully. You know what I mean? We're a great country and people know that. Other countries know that. And we need to help. Not just bully our way into things. You know what I mean? There's a time and a place and you got to pick your battles, and for some reason they chose that battle. I understand those people weren't great people. I understand they were believing things that they're filling their head with mush. You know what I mean? Like, even the smartest people were believing this dude. You know what I mean? And to me, from what I believe in personal relationship from me to God, right? I don't need that third person. I don't need that middleman. You don't need that. That's the whole point of it. You know what I mean? I don't need some guy telling me he's the Messiah or he's the son of David or I have to believe him in everything he says. And this is what those people fell into. This is what they believed. You believe another person, another human being. It's like what the Catholics do with the Pope. The Pope's a human being, man. You can't take nothing from him. Who cares? He's an old man. You're just going to listen to an old man? No, I don't take nothing from a human being. This is a one-way street. I don't need that middleman. Get out of here. I don't know. Believe what you want to believe, but that's my opinion. and I love it, and it's not going to change. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do more research of that. I already found the documentary on ABC that I'm going to watch tonight. Put my feet up. I love me a good doc. I had to make sure I had pronounced that right. Doc. So this is something I haven't talked about. I actually started this podcast to talk about health and fitness, right? But then I got tired of talking about it all the time. You know, I don't know. It just gets old when you're talking about it every single time and just trying to find new things to talk about, right? So, but now I found some articles that really interested me, right? Because I feel like I kind of, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Related to it. And this dude, man, this seemed like it's exactly me. So this dude right here, 23-year-old grad student. He looked in the mirror, saw an overweight man looking back at him, even when it wasn't the truth. At one point, he lost 80 pounds and found himself terrified, gaining it back. He'd overexercised, burning 1,000 calories on the treadmill while only taking in 900 a day. After a meal, he checked to see if his stomach had visibly changed. He'd do crunches after a Sunday dinner with his family, worried again that he'd put on weight. So, if you're listening, I'm showing a picture. It goes from him before and then him after. Him before was a skinny dude, right? Very skinny dude. And then after, he's jacked. You know, you could definitely tell he's been lifting. You know, he almost looks like me. Just playing. Anyway, I thought I said Frank Sinatra. No, his name's Frank Satira. And he says, body dysmorphia does not really care what you look like. And it doesn't. Like, I don't know if I have that or if I ever did. I just know I've always been body conscious. And I know I've told this story a couple times probably before, but for you guys that that just listen now or just don't know this about me or whatever, I was always self-conscious about my body, every single part of it, from my height to my weight to the way I looked. Now I've kind of grown. I've spent so much time learning about my body and doing different things. Like, yeah, I'm always trying to improve myself, but I care more about my mentality now, and my health more so than my body, the way it looks. When I say that, I mean the way it looks. You know, I'm not looking for a six-pack and all that kind of stuff. I still want to have a nice body. I still want to be able to take my shirt off in places and not be self-conscious, right? So, when I was younger, and I mean, as far as I can think back, I think back to like elementary school where it started with my height. My height, I was so self-conscious of my height, it was ridiculous. Like, you would never think a guy, like a boy would be that self-conscious, you know, because when you think of that, you always think of girls because you see what they see in magazines and stuff like that, you know. No one really equates that to guys, you know, but they see those magazines too, trust me. I seen the health magazine, the men's fitness and the bodybuilding ones and all that kind of stuff, right? So, in elementary school, I was very short, and it took me a long time, and I'm still short, right? I mean, I'm average height, I guess. And I just didn't like it. I was shorter than girls that I liked, and no girls really wanted to show their feelings for me or anything because they were taller than me, and they didn't want to be around me because they were taller than me. And I didn't really want to be around them because I was short. I was so self-conscious, you know. I remember one time I tried to like make myself taller, like stretch myself, and and I used to do that a lot. Like, I don't know, I kind of knew it wouldn't work. And it was probably stupid to try and do, but like I don't know. It just seemed, I said like, hey, I need to try it. I need to try it. And then let's say we got to middle school, and I think middle school, like when I started playing sports, right? And we started playing shirts and skins. I think that's when I realized, oh wow, like I don't like my body. You know, so now it's about my weight or the way my body looks rather than just my height. So I'm still self-conscious about my height, right? At the time. And now it's all three. It's the way I look. It's the way I present myself in front of people. It's the way people think about me. It's like, dude, I was overrun with self-consciousness. Like, I don't know if there's a word for that. Like, I very much so cared about what people thought of me. I cared about what I thought of me. I cared about what I looked like. I cared about my height. I cared about my belly. Oh man, there were so many things, and keep in mind, I'm in middle school, thinking like this. There were nights I came home and cried all the time because of this thing, because of this way I felt, because of what's going through my head. And specifically, I remember a time where we were playing shirts and skins, and I was younger, so I was still in middle school, and I got moved up to varsity to play with the high schoolers in soccer, right? And we were playing shirts and skins. I take off my shirt, and I'm looking at all these high school dudes, man. They got hair on their chest. They got the happy trail coming from their belly button, right? They got abs. And I'm sitting there with a flat chest, with a pork belly, and just skinny arms and everything. And I just like, the whole time running up and down the field, I'm trying to flex. I'm trying to stay flexed. So I look somewhat, you know, I'm trying to suck my tummy in and all that stuff, right? And I couldn't even think about soccer. I was playing, physically I was playing, but in my mind I'm like, okay, keep my stomach tight. You know, you can't let them see it. And it just makes me sad. You know, I mean, I look back and I really learned a lot from it. Especially since I got into bodybuilding later in life. But yeah, it makes me sad, and it makes me feel like I know there's other kids that probably feel that way. I know there's probably adults that feel that way and don't know, and a lot of women don't know that guys get that way. You know? Or young kids, young boys. I wasn't even fat. I was just little. It was all in my head. But for what? For what reason was I thinking like that? You know what I mean? Like, what made me think that way? I didn't have people telling me I was fat or anything. It was just in my head. And it blows my mind because I think now, like, why? I was very active all the time. I was always doing something. I was always outside at home. I was playing sports every single season. I was doing something. But, you know, I had this vision in my head that I was gross looking. Because I looked at other people and I didn't have what they had. They had what I wanted. You know what I mean? And then, getting older and I got into bodybuilding, and it felt more fulfilling. Like, yeah, I still had guys. Now I had guys that are even bigger, and I was looking at the magazines even more. I was looking at these guys. I was like, this is what I want to be. This is what I want to be. And then I did it. I didn't become as big as them. I didn't become what they look like, but I became a version of myself like that. And I did it. I did it a couple times. But the lengths and the work I had to do to get there just really showed me like, oh shit, I don't want to live like that. You know what I mean? So I think now I kind of found like my balance of, I don't know, of what I want versus what I want to do to get it. It's just like, it's a different animal in your brain. It has which is weird because it has nothing to do with the body. It has nothing to do with your body. It's all in your head. It's all in your brain. And it takes time. It takes work on yourself. It takes just that mental toughness and self-love, I think. I think self-love is probably the biggest thing. And I know a lot of people deal with that. I don't know if you guys listening deal with that. If you have a problem loving yourself. Now I have no problem loving myself. But I don't know. I'm just cocky sometimes. I'm always joking around and stuff like that. Like, I'm not really a dick. I'm not really a cocky asshole, you know what I mean? I just like to joke about it. But I do. Like, I don't mind myself at all. Like, I like who I've become. I like what I'm working on myself to be. And I think that's when you start to love yourself, is when you know that you're doing things to get better. If you're just doing the everyday thing and you're not trying to better yourself with anything in life, you know what I mean? And that's why I work out. I don't work out every day like I used to. I don't train the way I used to at all. Not even close. I used to work out in the gym like crazy, right? In my mind, it was, I gotta win, gotta get this body, gotta do it now, come on. It was always that. Gotta do cardio, gotta eat, gotta lift, gotta train. It was always one after the other. It was never about anything else. What I was watching on YouTube was bodybuilding. I was eating what my coach told me to eat. I made sure I did my cardio in the morning and at night. I never missed any of it. Because I wanted to get to the best possible body I could get. You know what I mean? And it tested, and I think going through all that really tested my mindset too. Like, I never had a drive or a passion before bodybuilding at all. Going through school, going through life, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care about a thing. You can ask my parents. Didn't care about a thing. And when like personal training and bodybuilding came into my life, like a flame just ignited like in my head. And it took me to a new level. It took me to a level where I wanted to help other people deal with that situation that I dealt with. To have self-love for their, not just their body, but their mind and everything. Like, everyone that I trained and stuff, we didn't just talk about their body. I talked about like what kind of stuff they were watching. I talked about what they were dealing with in their life. I had people tell me stuff they couldn't tell their therapist, which is weird. It's crazy. It's crazy the stuff that people told me and had confidence in telling me that, and it made me feel good. that they felt like they could trust me with that feeling that they had of themselves, you know, or what drives them to eat as much as they were eating, or not eat as much as, or not eat, you know. So going through those things with myself and with other people brought me to where I am today, where I constantly try and better myself. I have a drive, I have a passion, and it's not for one thing anymore. It's not for just fitness and health. Now there's tons of like directions I'm going, because I want to do so many things. I want to create music. I want to do podcasts. I want to still be with health and fitness. You know what I mean? I want to edit videos. I want to open a supplement shop. Like, there's so many things I want to do, and then I have a passion for it, and then I have a drive to want to create. All because of what I went through in my mind when I was younger, and then what it brought me to. And I don't know. And reading this article just really brought all this out of me, you know. And I just want to know if you feel comfortable like talking about it or anything like that. I just want to know, like, if you ever dealt with this, right? If you ever dealt with, I don't know if I have, or if I had body dysmorphia or whatever, right? But whatever it is, like, I just want to know if there's anyone else out there that kind of like dealt with this, you know, kind of thing. You know, you don't have to go deep into your story or anything like that, but you know, if you ever dealt with something like this, or and got over it, and just really, like, I don't know, or even if you still go through it, just let me know, man. Like, I just want to hear stories. I just want to hear your thoughts. And just I know I'm not the only one that goes through this stuff, or that went through it, you know. I mean, I still kind of go through it. I look in the mirror sometimes, I'm like, ah, shit. You know, there's always that ah, shit moment. But yeah, just call the hotline and leave a voicemail, and just let me know. And you know, and just let me know if you relate. You can call the hotline, 302-313-6429. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. That really took a lot out of me. That made me dig deeper into myself. You know, just seeing that article. I don't think I've ever dug that deep, because I've always wondered why I felt that way when I was younger. And I mean, I still don't kind of know what made me feel that way. It could be genetic or something. Who knows? But I just know now I'm very happy with myself. I'm happy with what I've become. I'm happy with what I'm striving to be. I'm not just settling for something. And I just can't wait to see what the future holds. You know, that is, if we ever get past this coronavirus. If I can get out of this quarantine, man, then I can move on with my life. See what's really out there. But yeah, man, I mean, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Good way to end things. And I'm trying to be more positive on here. I know I talk a lot about murder and crime stuff, but that's just like my own little thing I like to watch. I like to learn about that kind of stuff. But I want to be more positive. I want to be more upbeat. And, so I want to end this on a good note. And
The sun's going down as I try to make my way through the crowd. Feeling alive, I love being by your side. It makes me shine. We got one summer, so let's make it count. You make me feel like everything's alright. Let's dance our problems away in the night. Love being right next to you. You'll be on my mind. I'll be dreaming about this till the end of time. We are young, we are free, down for the ride. Might be over
here we
tomorrow.
go. Here we go.
We got this steady forever.
Oh, yeah. That's a bop. And that song is called You'll Be On My Mind by Waykap. Waykap. You'll Be On My Mind. And that's it for this week, guys. And I hope y'all have a great day, have a blessed day, stay safe out there, wear your mask, follow the rules, don't get sick. Love you guys. Peace.